Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
And the battle to flatten the curve rages on, from grocery store to checkout lines to hospitals.
So many people wondering when we might start see some results from the stay-home order and social distancing, but here's where things stand at this hour. Michigan's numbers taking another tragic rise, with nearly 2,300 cases and 43 deaths reported. 2 hospitals in their Henry Ford Health System, Detroit and West Bloomfield, say they have now reached capacity.
Detroit will begin offering drive-up testing by appointment only this Friday. We've posted information on how to go about that on our website at clickondetroit.com. Also to note, the annual Mackinac Policy Conference, which usually takes place in May, has now been moved to August.
So how long will this last? That is the question that we all ask ourselves, and we keep asking each other.
That's right. To get some perspective here, we turn to a world-renowned expert who also happens to be a professor and researcher at the University of Michigan Public School of Health. Dr. Frank McGeorge joins us with more on that. Doc?
Yeah, Kim and Devin. So Dr. Arnold Monto has advised the World Health Organization and the Department of Defense on numerous outbreaks during his lengthy career. He was in Beijing during the SARS pandemic, and he says there are many things that we can learn from past outbreaks.
We have the experience of the first cousin of this virus, the virus that caused SARS back in 2003, and they had no vaccine. They had no antivirals, and they controlled it by social distancing.
Dr. Monto cautions against making predictions.
I think making predictions long-term is probably going to be wrong and will certainly not help us in trying to figure out what we should do short-term. We have to reassess where we are on a regular basis and not make predictions of where we will be even in 2 to 3 weeks. I think we are going to have to tailor this to what goes on in our local areas. The unfortunate thing is we've had to respond by extreme measures.
He says because none of us have any immunity to this new virus, there is no quick fix.
Learn about what is going on so you have a realistic view of what is going to happen. I think we will come out of this better in some ways, but what is very clear is that we're going to come out of this different.
Our greatest weapon in this fight, patience.
The best thing we can do is to realize that there will be an end.
Yeah, so, Dr. Monto says back in 2003, the experts all said that SARS was going to be with us forever. And they were all wrong. He's not saying that this will necessarily happen with COVID-19, but he says it's really one more example of why we shouldn't focus on a specific time frame, because we just don't know yet.
Unfortunately, we're still dealing with how much we don't know. Exactly right. All right, Doc, thanks very much. We'll talk to you again very soon. Now, late last week, we brought you a story about an 80-year-old Detroit man who was diagnosed with coronavirus, and we heard his family describe how they were coping. We are sad to report, though, that he did not survive.
Yeah, let's check in with Sean Lay. He has more on. Actually, we're going to get to that story in just a moment. But first, we want to, is this live video?
I guess we're seeing live video now from the Senate floor. Chuck Schumer and the New York senator talking as the Senate aims to vote today on this $2 trillion stimulus package. We just heard the president and Steve Mnuchin talking about what it might mean.
Yeah, it's certainly designed to flood the economy with money, is what they're saying. It is the question so many of us, particularly those laid off, are asking. What about this promised relief? What kind of check am I eligible for or not eligible for? For some answers, we turn to Local 4 business editor Rod Maloney. Rod, good evening.
Good evening, Kimberly. We're here at the IRS building in Detroit because it's the IRS that's going to be managing this. You may not have known that. And let's think about this. We're talking about $250 billion that's to be handed out to American citizens as they get ready to vote here. So let's take a look at what your piece of that might look like. So here's how it works. The average check's going to be $1,200 per adult, $500 for a child. If you haven't filed your taxes for 2019, then you'll want to turn to your 2018 tax return. Either way, look for your adjusted gross income, or more simply put, your taxable income. If you filed individually and you made $75,000 or less, you're going to qualify for the full check. If you filed jointly, it's $150,000 or less for that full check. If you made more than those figures, you may still qualify for some lesser government cash. Single filers between $75,000 and $99,000 will get a smaller check. For joint filers, the phase-out goes from $150,000 to $198,000. But this leaves a lot of people in special circumstances wondering whether they will get a check too. If you're on Social Security, you will get a check. If you didn't make any money last year or haven't filed a tax return because you don't make much money, you can get a full check. But in order to get that money, you will have to file a tax return, giving the IRS some way to know that you are in fact there. Also, these so-called checks are not actually checks. They'll be direct deposits to bank accounts the IRS may already have for you. Otherwise, if you don't have a bank account or don't use direct deposit, then you can expect a paper check. The goal is to have these deposits or checks written and delivered in the next 3 weeks, but it could be May before they arrive. And of course, there is the House after the Senate votes, and if in fact they're in the process of doing that right now, good. But the House, they're not even in town. So there are a lot of questions about how they're going to manage that. They believe they can do it essentially by acclamation, which means that they don't need to take the voice vote or physically be there. But the belief is that they should have this wrapped up in the next day or two. But the deadline was on Monday, so they're a bit tardy here. Back to you.
Indeed. And Rod, what are we hearing, if anything, about any holdups in the Senate bill?
Well, part of it is the amount of unemployment that's going to be handed out. Bernie Sanders apparently was quite upset about some of the cuts that were done in there. And of course, there were other things in the bill. You craft a bill of this size, one of the largest ever, and you do it in this speed, you're going to make mistakes. Sure. And one of the things that they discovered was there were some incentives for people not to work. So they're trying to change that at the last minute as well.
Absolutely. And we're watching the Senate right now. As soon as anything changes, we'll get back there. All right, Rod. State of Michigan and most of our area getting pretty high marks when it comes to following instructions to stay home.
Yeah, that's good news. Steve Garagiola has a look at who's doing the grading and what they've concluded about us. Steve.
A company that tracks cell phone data has put out a national scorecard of how we're doing with social distancing, and Metro Detroit gets high marks. There are very few weapons with which to fight back at the COVID-19 virus. The most effective seems to be social distancing, which cuts down dramatically on the number of people we come in contact with, and by doing that, we slow the spread of the virus. A group called Unicast in New York has used what they call human mobility data from cities all around the country to measure travel, and with that data, determine who's doing a good job of social distancing. According to Unicast, the state of Michigan overall gets a grade of A, ranking us with the top 5 in the country. A closer look at Metro Detroit shows our area with almost straight A's, each of those counties having reduced travel by 40 to 50%. The only community with a poor grade is Monroe, who, according to Unicast's analysis, failed to take social distancing seriously. Between February 28th and March 9th, travel actually went up, scoring an initial grade of F. Since then, the amount of travel by folks in Monroe has sharply declined. Monroe now improved to a grade of C. The consensus among medical professionals around the world is that social distancing works if we all do our part. I don't guess I'm comfortable with a company that tracks every movement, but at least we know we're doing a good job in fighting back at coronavirus. I'm Steve Garagiola, Local 4.
Doing what we can. All right, Steve. On the bright side, finding the bright side didn't take much effort today. Just had to look up, right?
So beautiful. Let's check in with Ben.
But do you remember where your sunglasses were? That was the big question that everybody faced today. Will we get more of this for the rest of the week? We'll look at those answers coming up.